CEO went on a blind date with a single dad. She froze when his daughter said, "You're my real mom." The restaurant fell silent. Amelia's wine glass hovered midair, her fingers trembling as the little girl's words echoed in her mind, "You're my real mom." How could this child possibly know about the baby she had given up for adoption 12 years ago? The same child who now stood before her, with familiar eyes that mirrored her own. If you're touched by this story already, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming content that reminds us how fate works in mysterious ways. Amelia Carter hadn't always been the powerhouse CEO of Horizon Technologies. 15 years ago, she was just a terrified 19-year-old college freshman facing an unplanned pregnancy alone. With no support system and dreams of finishing her degree, she made the heartbreaking decision to place her baby for adoption, hoping to give her daughter the stable life she couldn't provide. The adoption had been closed at the agency's recommendation. Amelia only knew her baby had gone to a loving home with a father who desperately wanted a child. She had written a letter to be given to her daughter when she turned 18, explaining her decision and expressing her love. Not a day passed that Amelia didn't think about the child she had given up. Now, at 34, Amelia had built an empire. She had the corner office, the luxury apartment, and the respect of Silicon Valley. What she didn't have was someone to share it with. After 3 years of focusing exclusively on her career, her assistant Jen had practically forced her to agree to a blind date. His name is Daniel. He's a widower with a daughter. He's an architect, loves hiking, and according to my husband, he makes incredible paella, Jen had said, sliding a piece of paper with a restaurant name and time across Amelia's desk. Daniel Matthews had lost his wife to cancer when their daughter Lily was just 4 years old. For 8 years, he had devoted himself to raising his daughter while building his architectural firm. Dating hadn't been a priority until recently, when Lily herself had suggested he needed someone in his life besides her. The blind date had started awkwardly, as they often do. Amelia arrived 15 minutes late, apologizing profusely about an emergency conference call. Daniel had been understanding, his kind eyes crinkling at the corners when he smiled. They discovered mutual interests in sustainable design, obscure indie films, and a shared love of the same hiking trails in the mountains north of the city. 2 hours into their date, Daniel received a text. "I'm so sorry," he said. "My babysitter has a family emergency. Would you mind terribly if my daughter joined us for dessert? She's just around the corner at her friend's house." Amelia surprised herself by agreeing readily. Children usually made her uncomfortable, each one a reminder of what she had given up. But something about Daniel's gentle manner and obvious devotion to his daughter intrigued her. When Lily arrived, Amelia felt an inexplicable jolt. The girl had dark curly hair and a spattering of freckles across her nose, but it was her eyes, a unique hazel with flecks of gold, that caused Amelia's heart to stutter. They were her eyes, her mother's eyes, her grandmother's eyes. Throughout dessert, Lily chatted animatedly about her science project and her soccer team's recent victory. Amelia found herself drawn to the girl's infectious enthusiasm. When Daniel excused himself to take a call from a client, Lily leaned forward. "I know who you are," she whispered. Amelia smiled, assuming the girl meant her company. "You've heard of Horizon Technologies?" Lily shook her head. "No. I found the letter in Dad's desk drawer last month. The one you wrote to me before I was born." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. "What?" Amelia whispered, her voice barely audible. "You're my real mom," Lily said simply. "I've been looking for you. I asked Dad's friend to set up this date. He doesn't know I know." Amelia's wine glass froze midway to her lips. The restaurant sounds faded to a distant hum as she stared at the girl, her daughter, across the table. Daniel returned, oblivious to the seismic shift that had just occurred. "Everything okay?" he asked, noting Amelia's pale face. Before she could respond, Lily spoke. "Dad, there's something I need to tell you both." What followed was an evening of tears, revelations, and long-buried truths. Daniel had never hidden from Lily that she was adopted, but he hadn't known the identity of her birth mother. The adoption agency had closed years ago, its records sealed or lost. The coincidence, or perhaps fate, that had brought them together seemed impossible. As the weeks passed, Amelia, Daniel, and Lily navigated their new reality with caution and hope. Amelia learned that Daniel's late wife had known about the adoption and had helped him raise Lily with stories about her brave birth mother who had loved her enough to give her a better life. For Amelia, integrating into Lily's life meant confronting her deepest fears and regrets. Could she be worthy of this child's love after giving her up? Could she balance her demanding career with this unexpected second chance at family? Daniel faced his own challenges. He had raised Lily alone for 8 years, establishing routines and traditions that were sacred to them both. Opening their tight-knit unit to include Amelia meant vulnerability and change. Lily, wise beyond her 12 years, often served as the bridge between the adults. "You both love me," she said one evening when tensions rose over a disagreement about her school schedule. "That's more than most kids get." 6 months after that fateful blind date, Amelia sat on a park bench watching Daniel teach Lily how to perfect her soccer kick. She had scaled back her work hours, delegating more to her capable team. The world hadn't ended. In fact, Horizon's profits had increased as her leadership style evolved to reflect the balance she was finding in her personal life. Daniel joined her on the bench, his shoulder warm against hers. "Penny for your thoughts?" "I was just thinking about fate," Amelia said. "What are the odds that out of all the men in this city, I'd be set up with the one who adopted my daughter?" Daniel took her hand. "Maybe not as small as you'd think. We lived within 10 miles of each other. We moved in similar social circles. And Lily has your determination. Once she found that letter and decided to find you, I don't think the universe stood a chance." 1 year after their first date, Amelia moved into Daniel's craftsman home. 2 years later, they married in a simple ceremony in the backyard, with Lily serving as both flower girl and best person. At 14, she had grown taller, her features maturing to show even more resemblance to Amelia, while her creative spirit mirrored Daniel's. On quiet evenings, Amelia sometimes marveled at how her greatest loss had ultimately led to her greatest joy. The career that had once been her only identity was now just one facet of a rich, complex life. The family she had never dared to dream of had found her anyway. Life wasn't perfect. They argued, compromised, and sometimes stumbled. Lily entered her teenage years with the expected storms of emotion and identity. Daniel and Amelia didn't always agree on parenting approaches. Amelia still occasionally worked too late. But on Lily's 16th birthday, as they gathered around a homemade cake in their kitchen, Amelia realized they had created something precious and rare, a family forged not just by blood or circumstance, but by choice and love. "Make a wish," Daniel told Lily as she prepared to blow out her candles. Lily smiled, looking between the two people who had each given her life in different ways. "I don't need to," she said. "I already got my wish 4 years ago." As the candles flickered out, Amelia understood that sometimes the most beautiful stories aren't about perfect people but about imperfect people who perfectly complement each other. Her journey from scared teenage mother to successful CEO to unexpected family woman hadn't been linear or easy, but standing in that kitchen, surrounded by love, she wouldn't have changed a single step. If this story touched your heart, remember that families come in all forms. The bonds we choose can be as strong as those we're born into. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that celebrate the unexpected ways love finds us all. Share in the comments if you've experienced a moment when fate seemed to step in and change your life forever.